really good. We were just talking about how having a bias right now can be really, really, um, I guess,
Detrimental.
negative for your trading. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think in any market, having a bias, not just being fluid, kind of sets you up for some bad situations.
Yeah. How are you feeling about this 2022 market? I know that you said you're kind of just following whatever is in front of you, but how are you feeling overall about it?
I'm optimistic for it. I feel like that there's plenty of opportunities to be absorbed, especially on a kind of macro trend on the daily, right? There's still a higher low to be maintained. And even if that fails, I feel like there'd be some strong buyers. I'm not thinking that we'll go down to 300, but it's a pretty strong support on the daily, on the QQQ.
Yeah, I think one of the things that people need to remember is there's so many people in our country that are, or in our world actually, that are so long on, QQQ and SPY that I think if it were to make any sort of, lower low, like if we break the 200 and then have some sort of dip, there's going to be buyers that just run from everywhere to put
Oh, for
QQQ and
sure.
SPY in their IRA for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years.
Oh, most definitely. It's just like the housing market, right? And I see why they're kind of like perma bulls on QQQ, and it's built to go up. There's high performing tech stocks in the queues, but it is pretty extended, and I would say inflated on this kind of course of this push. Up to
Yeah.
400, and then now we're down about 10%. From that all time high.
Good news is this nice little pullback might get us a rocket in, 6 months, a year from now. We might get
Oh,
some
yeah,
straight boner
definitely.
candles.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, right? I love playing bear, it's kind of stair step up, elevator down. So on the downside, I love making money, and you can use that cash flow to invest into some further leaps or monthlies.
Yeah, for sure.
What I need to ask somebody in my group wanted me to ask you about your 10:30 alarm strat.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's magic time in the market, man.
Mhm.
I wish I could show you my screen, but if you go on the queues or
Mhm.
anything really, and you look at 10:30, now I would say around 10 to 10:45, you'll see a huge kind of reversal point in the market. Now, not always, just like any strategy, right? You can't use the same thing daily or expect there to be a sense of consistency with something like a time frame. But just go back, right? Anyone listening in the review, just look at 10:30 and look at the reaction of the day and how that affected the kind of pivots for
Are
that
we
moment.
talking 10:30 Eastern time?
Yep, 10:30 Eastern
Yeah.
time, 1 hour after open. Yep.
That's the
Okay.
that's the thing like I've been hammering it to my Discord for a while. I personally don't like playing the first like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. We just see a whole lot of chop and no clear direction. But
Oh, for sure.
but essentially for a while now it's been a bull trap into chop into hard flush, and then they kind of things start to like recover a bit off their downtrend into lunch, and then they may try to flush you in the power hour, but it's been super consistent. So that your 10:30 strat or whatever you want to call it is pretty spot on, and it's pretty similar to what I've been doing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I always kind of recommend to traders, right, especially for new trading options, wait the first 30 minutes to an hour. Going into market open, there's a lot of bias going back and forth from bears and bulls. Everyone wants to be profitable. And everyone has a bullish or bearish bias. So it's going to push up or down, like you're talking about bull traps or bear traps. And, there's just a lot. It's like walking into the middle of the road, right? It's not something you would typically do, but there are times where you can get away with it.
Uh,
I like that. I like the 30 minutes after open. I
yeah,
always stress that to all the people that I talk to about how things are so crazy choppy sometimes
Oh yeah,
at the
and the
open.
IV as well, right? You don't want to get
Gonna get
IV
crushed
crushed or anything like that. Yeah,
I,
exactly.
for sure.
somebody brought this up to me, and I'm sure you can probably touch on this, but somebody brought this up. He's like, I get up 2 hours before pre-market. I trade options. I'm ready pre-market, looking everything, charting my levels, everything. And he's like, we open, and he just has this urge to trade, and I'm like, well, listen, if you just need to offset that urge with some patience. And he's like, well, I feel like I'm going to miss a move, and I'm like, and we started reviewing some charts. I'm like, there's no move to be missed. It's just there's so much chop and imbalance in that open that it's like a coin flip trade, as I like to call it, because you're basically guessing on a direction. Do you have
Oh,
any
definitely.
advice on that? Like for maybe somebody that's like, oh well, they just always feel the need to make a trade, or they have that FOMO of like missing a move, quote unquote.
Right. So I used to, I'm sure everyone has gone through that as a trader, but um, I have taken so many losing trades, feeling like I was missing a move or I was anticipating a move. Hey, I'm going to get in here first, right? And then, as time has gone on, I realized that, hey, even if I miss the top or the complete bottom of a move, there's plenty of opportunity on the way towards this destination, right? So, um, it, don't focus so much on the first, 30 minutes, an hour. You do all of that preparation, right? 2 hours before open, you put in all of this hard work and it's not equating to progress, right? You're not following or, practicing any sense of obedience to your own rules and process that you've worked so hard for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Go
actually
ahead, Teddy.
100% agree with all that. I wanted to ask you kind of a little bit more about this 10:30 rule. How do you kind of use it and implement it into your trading day? Like, I know that obviously it's the time. So do you, anticipate a move when that time comes, or do you just, watch for a move if you're in a trade? Do you use it as a risk, kind of helper, or how do you use it exactly?
So I always take into things into context. I never look at one strategy, right? I always have to have multiple levels of confirmation. But if you look at what is this date? The yesterday, the 18th, which was Tuesday. This whole kind of break has got me off my schedule. But on Tuesday, go to QQQ and go to right at 10:30 and look at what happened. Right now, I use the 9, the 20, and the 200 EMA, and typically I'm looking at them on the 5 minute. But that had confluence one zone as well as the 5 minute 200 EMA. And it was pretty extended, right? We had gotten a higher high. And typically, when you get a higher high in a kind of bullish trend, right, which is higher highs and higher lows, once a higher high follows, you're going to have a higher low right thereafter. So I felt like there was a lot of weakness. No shorts really letting anything close over 375.58. And that was on 118 on QQQ on Tuesday.
I see that actually exactly what you're
Yep.
talking about.
And I mean, you can go through, I mean, it's not going to work every single day, but look at the day prior on what is this? 114. Look at 1020, right?
Yeah.
Right there.
That's actually super interesting. I know we had Shinobi on a while ago. He said something about a magical like 113 EMA, something like that. We always like to see people's like special kind of little trading strategies. This is really
Oh, yeah.
cool. I'm gonna go
Oh,
back
for
test
sure.
this.
Oh, you should because I've done it for multiple years now.
This is awesome.
I know what your answer is gonna be, I think, but I wanted to ask you about what is your go-to indicator, because I think I know what the answer is.
Okay. I use the only two indicators I use VWAP 9, 20, 200 EMA on multiple time frames. That's it.
And so I know we've like interacted back and forth on Twitter about the nine, and I posted a thread and I said something today. Um, what is it about the nine? Because that the nine is my favorite thing to use. So from your perspective, like what is so important in regards to the nine, and not just the nine, but like EMAs in general?
Okay. So with the 9, for me, you may see some other traders, disagree upon it, this or that, right? I use it every single day. I live stream with it every single day, and I use entries to, provide very good trades every single day with it. And I'm sure that you find the same. What I look at it is, right? Some people may look at it as a cloud or something, but it's a strong area for a possible dip buy, especially on momentum. Now, I use the 9 and the 20 on multiple time frames, the 1, the 2, the 3, the 5, and the 10 typically. And the problem that people run into is that they think that they can use the same time frame EMAs every single day, right? I have to go through and find what exact time frame is being respected the best on of the 9 and the 20 EMA. So the thing for the 9 for me on very strong momentum, especially right after it crosses, you get very strong pullbacks, right? Pullbacks that where those late shorts or late bulls who didn't take the initial dip, um, that's where they get in, right? It's an area that they can base risk off of and have a high likelihood because since the EMAs are so tight so early on, it's a very desirable entry. But some newer traders or less experienced traders may feel like it's for them to kind of process or understand. But I mean, I fell in love with the 9 and 20 EMA just by back testing. I used to not use any EMAs. I used to just use VWAP, straight naked trading. And I just watched it on Webull for like 6 to 8 months and was like, okay, I'm going to throw this on my PC, right? I'm going to throw it on there. And I've never been back. It's like if you're, a naked trader, right? It's like your shoelaces. It ties everything together. You see a lot of entries that you may have not have seen, and it gives you a stronger sense of confirmation, as it is another point of view that many traders use. The 9 and the 20 is very common.
Yeah.
But since the fact that it is common, holds so much more strength.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say about the 9 quick. Is just that it gives you that confirmation, like no matter the direction you're playing. And it's something that I've used for a while, and it's great both ways, crossing in either direction, whether you're playing puts, calls. It's super strong.
Oh, I definitely agree.
There's a big debate kind of on FinTwit about time frames. There's a lot of people who use the 1 minute. There's a lot of people that have been, transitioning to the 3 minute. 5 minutes always been strong. Some people use 10, 15 after, 30 minutes of the market. Do you have a preference, or is it based on the stock? Is it based on, time of day? What do you think?
So I used to, Shark Trader, he posted this tweet, and a long time ago, he said the 1, the 3, and the 5 or something like that was created for retail traders to lose money on, right? And I saw a lot of newer traders, they all start off on the 1 minute. They need to feel like they have to have every single bit of information. So I wasn't using it. So I started streaming with it. I was like, okay, well, I want to teach you guys how I would use this time frame in a patient kind of manner, because the problem with the 1, okay, there's pros and cons, but the problem with the 1 is that it presents too much data that you end up reflecting on throughout the day. So maybe you see a lot of lower wicks or something like that, a lot of upper wicks, but it doesn't report itself onto the 5 or the 10 or a larger time frame, which obviously adds more weight. Now with the 1 on a momentum kind of day trading perspective, it's perfect for entries. You see a lot of the dialogue, between bears and bulls, and you can really see who's winning and who's losing in that certain kind of consolidation phase or trend phase. So for myself, I am always looking at, especially, I mean, if anyone's watched the streams, right, I'm always looking at the 1, the 3, the 5, and the 10, and always using those to kind of gather a kind of, confluent thesis on the trade. But I also look at the 15-minute, the 30-minute, the hourly, and the 4 hour and the daily, right? Those are pretty common as well.
Yeah, I think something you said that really stuck out to me was the confluence of all of the charts together. If you can find something where, it's a 9 EMA lines up with a 20 EMA on a different chart, that's probably going to be a pretty damn strong support, because you're going to have, double the people, or however many people are on one of the charts are going to be on the other chart as well. And there's going to be people buying that dip or, selling that resistance, whatever it is. So that's a really good point that you touched on. Do you ever use crosses, like 9 EMA crossing the 20 EMA to the upside, might bring some momentum? Do you ever use that kind of thing?
Yes, but I never truly enter on it. I'm normally either waiting for another 9 EMA pullback to confirm that move alongside with my pivot points. Now, one thing with EMAs that I want people to truly understand is that, like you're talking about with the confluence of timeframes, if multiple timeframes are aligning, of course, it's going to show much more strength of the current trend. But sometimes people get stuck on like the 1 minute EMA, right? And they'll stop out on the 20 EMA on the 1 minute. But if you really value and understand what how strong your entry is, you can look at multiple time frames without actually having to switch them. So like on the 1 minute, right? The 20 EMA on the 1 minute is the 3 minute 9 EMA. And the 3 minute 20 EMA is the 5 minutes 9. And the 5 minutes 20 EMA is the 10 minutes 10, right? So I can kind of use those without flipping to different time frames and still get a stronger sense of the current trend, whether it be a macro or a micro trend, whichever kind of trade I'm using.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. You just taught me something. I didn't know that. I did not know that I could, I knew that at some points. I've noticed obviously over time that some
Oh
things
yeah.
line up way too much. So I'm like, okay, these are the same, but I didn't know that exact down to a
Oh, for sure.
science.
Like go on any chart right now, go to your 20 EMA on the 1 minute, draw an arrow, switch it over to the three. It'll be around the same level where the 3 minutes 9 EMA is.
That's awesome. That's actually,
And that'll keep you in a trade. You'll be like, oh, okay, well, the 1 minute's crumbling, right? But is the 3 minute holding full, right? Is the 3 minute 9
yeah,
EMA still holding strong? And I use that every day.
man,
that's
that's awesome.
something I like to use. I like to use the 5 and the 15 together. Um, there's certain times where I will enter something based off the 5 or confirmation on the 5. Say something breaks below the 9 on the 5 and I enter, and then say it's flirting, trying to break back above. When I switch over to the 15, that's like the added confirmation I need. Is it trapped under the 9 on the 15 still? Is there? I just kind of interpret the 5 as noise within the 15.
Oh,
Um,
definitely. Yeah. Because it's like three 5 minute candles, right?
yeah.
And then the 15, you look at it as like four, 15 minute equals 1 hour, right?
Yep.
You can kind of ladder through those time frames,
Which I think
which
is
takes a
super
bit
important.
more. Oh, for sure. It takes a ton of review and training to get to there, but as soon as you start to understand how these time frames work without actually having to flip through multiple time frames, then you're going to be that much more of an efficient trader.
Yeah.
Yeah. We want to kind of break up this strategy talk. I know Tony has a few questions for you kind of about, how you started trading, that kind of thing, but I got to ask, do you eat a lot of pancakes?
Oh, dude, yes.
You're a
you know,
pancake guy?
dude, I'm a pancake guy, but if I have the chance to go to Waffle House, man, I'm there.
I got to say I respect pancakes more than I respect waffles because they're soft and they're just so fluffy and they're amazing. They're way
Dude.
better
Yeah,
than
dude.
waffles.
Oh, for sure.
You got like a preference? Like do you like those just original buttermilks? Like what do you like?
It's either just regular buttermilks or chocolate chip or blueberries, but
Chocolate
always
chip.
with the real maple syrup, right?
You ever
Not
tried
Maple stacks, they gotta be real.
yeah, it's got to be real.
you ever
It's
tried
got to be
peanut
real.
butter? Peanut butter on pancakes?
I've done it on waffles, but
That's
not
very
pancakes.
good.
I like peanut butter on pancakes too. That
Yeah.
stuff is good.
Yeah, that's very good. um, oh, what did I want to ask? Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you. I have like a serious question, but before that, I wanted to ask, what do you think is like? It doesn't even have to be like a popular indicator, but like, what is an indicator to you that you think is useless, in your opinion?
Useless. Useless.
Or maybe not useless, but not as like great as people may make it
You're
out to be.
trash, boy. That kind of an indicator.
I mean, I don't know if it's truly an indicator, but maybe like RSI, right? Or stochastics. I really feel like if you have a general understanding of price action and just how to read a chart, then it's all kind of very simple information that's just I don't know. The oversold, undersold thing kind of leads you to being biased as well, right? Because what can go low or what is low can go lower and what's high can go higher. But it does add merit and there is weight, and some people use it. And so I can't say that it doesn't work. I
Yeah.
believe any and all strategies work, but you really got to figure out which one works for you.
I think the problem is I will see like we were talking about a couple minutes ago about naked trading, or I've just used supply and demand and trend lines and the 9. Like, I feel like when you can really simplify it and get good with something, it's way better than overcrowding your charts and having a million indicators on your chart. Like, people will send me charts in my Discord and they have so many things on and like things that I don't even know what they are. I'm like, dude,
Looks like a bowl of spaghetti.
yeah,
Dude.
like
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
trying to be rude, but I'm like, I can't read this. There's so much going on. And when you start getting, it's similar to like when you're building a watch list. If you're trying to watch 20 things in the morning, you're going to miss the move on everything. If you have 30 indicators on your chart, you're going to have no clue what's going on.
Right.
So,
I definitely agree.
I,
And I'm the same way. I'm very simplistic. I was talking with Fizz and a few other options or just a few other traders. He's just now trading options, but And he was like, what's your method? And I was like, to be honest, like this may freak you out, but I don't really look at volume. I don't really look at level two. I don't read time and sales. I'm a straight price action trader at the end of the day. And, I go in every day in my Discord. I stream 5, 6 hours a day and we bang out 50, 100%ers just off price action. All you need to be a trader, and I feel like you feel the same way too, is understanding price action and, the relationship between buyers and sellers and how strong, really determining how strong one is over the other at that moment in time.
Yeah,
Let me get your opinion on this. Sorry to cut you
no,
off,
you're
man,
good.
but let me get your opinion on this because I've been wanting to do kind of a lesson on this for everyone on Twitter. Is how do you feel about like candle closes? Because I feel like candle closes are pretty important of determining like strength of buyers versus strength of sellers, that kind of thing.
Right. So for me, like when I see maybe a tweezer top or just some kind of level, and I see where there's a very definitive line where the wick starts right at the top of the body in an uptrend, right? In this kind of example, but I'll draw a resistance line, right? And that is a line crucial for me to see if I am long, where bulls have to close over that. And if they can't, then it really, it shows a lot of weakness. Now you get a lot of times where it closes, it will close over, but you have to determine the strength of that closing over, right? Is it truly a strong breakout or is there a lot of upper wicks, right? One of the best kind
Yeah.
of lessons probably was from Brady for me, right? In an uptrend, right? If it's so bullish, right? Why are there all of these upper wicks, right? Always, gauging price action and, buyers turn to sellers at some point, right? You don't want to be stuck in their liquidity buying up their kind of, peak of a move or something like that.
Yeah, and the other thing with those closes on the candles is you can tell if you're in a stock if the bulls push up because I don't know if you're watching like 5 minute. I'll just stick with 5 minute for the sake of this example. If you're watching 5 minute chart and the bulls push up a candle close right at the end, the last 2 seconds, but then they can't hold it above the line. Is that really a great candle close? And also the other thing is um, if it's really, really strong, it'll close above, like 30 seconds before, and they'll just battle at that line and they'll hold it above.
Oh
There's a lot
yeah.
of things you can watch, which I was thinking a lot of people don't really care that much about candle closes. So I just wanted to see, and it's really cool to see that another, trader uses that quite a bit.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I use it. It's not like I don't know, and I call it the doji method, right? And it really goes all into watching how the candle closes. I've done it on 5 minute, 10 minute, and just like you say, right, they'll push it up into the upper or lower wick in the doji, but right before that candle closes, sellers or buyers will react, and it'll go right back within the original doji body, and that's super
Mm-hmm.
key because traders will get faked out, right? They will have a kind of euphoric thesis developed, and that's not really part of your kind of defined process, right? You're really reacting to price action that hasn't truly closed yet.
Yeah.
The I had a question. So I guess it's a two-part question, but
Okay.
how did you get into trading? Was it like did you have a mentor? And how long did it take you before you kind of started to figure things out where you were like, yeah, I mean, I this is something that I can probably do full time.
So I would say almost 3, maybe 2.5 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago, I was selling cars, right? And I was making good money, right? I mean, car salesmen make, they make very good money for the time that they put in, especially. But I also wanted more freedom, right? Freedom being time. Time for me was the most important thing in my life. I feel like one of the most sacred things in life. We only have one life, and I'm spending it sitting in a dealership, right? Ripping people off day by day. And it wasn't really a good experience, right? The quality of life was poor, but I did have money. So I was looking for any reason to leave, right? So I was always interested in investing, and with the investing, it was too slow, right? So and then I found day trading, and I saw people trading small caps and this or that. I lost a lot, right? I lost a lot in my first year or so. And I think everyone goes through that. If you are new, I really do kind of, push people to, if you can trade a small account and, comfortably trade that small account every day and not trade for the money, one, you're going to set habits to not focus on making the money, but more so, taking good trades. So, um, I was working at the car dealership, and I had this deal. It was a 2 pounder, which is like $2,000. And they asked me to go leave and to go grab something, right? Like energy drinks or something from the gas station down the road. And I'm like, okay, sweat it, whatever. 20 minutes later, I come back and I see the manager shaking hands with someone. And, this was an online kind of deal. I hadn't met this person before, but they were coming in to buy this vehicle cash, right? And it was $2,000 commission for me. And they were shaking hands, and they walk them out to this car and I look at the car. I'm like, hey, that's the car I was going to sell. What just happened? And he took the deal from me, right? He stole practically $2,000 out of my mouth, and that was it. I packed everything. I saw that my worth was no longer in this business, and I had to leave. So I already had money saved up from working at the car dealership for a few years, and I would say, about a year's worth of savings, right? Living expenses, food, gas, everything that I needed. And I'm very frugal. To this day, I only keep $1,500 in my bank account. And that's just from, my life experiences, right? I really have come from nothing, but I took the leap of faith. I was like, I'm smart enough to figure this out. And boy, did I get humbled the first year, but it was one of the best things that I ever did. And if you truly have a passion for something, like trading, no matter how many times you get knocked down or take a loss or have awful weeks, right? There's always opportunity the very next trading session, and you can always turn it around that trading session.
So, so then going off that, how long do you think it took you until you had that moment in your quote unquote trading journey or whatever you want to call it, where you were like, yeah, things are starting to like click for me and this is potentially something that I can do full time?
Um,
Just
you
a
know,
second before you start, dude.
sure.
Respect to you for just quitting that job. Like
Oh
fuck that
yeah,
boss. Second off,
dude.
like
Oh
that dude's an
yeah.
ass.
Yeah, I mean, that their salary 200K a year, and $2,000 was nothing, right? They already make money on the deal.
Oh
But
shit.
some young guy, right? Some young guy in the dealership, I guess he didn't know that they told me to go do this. They're like scavengers, man. It's like vultures. Anything walks through the door, they're trying to sell you something, and they don't care, if it's your deal or not, right? You'll get skated pretty easily.
Yeah.
But on Ant's question, right? It I knew that I could do this. I understood TA 6 months, 8 months in, right? But it really came down to my like psychological state of mind, right? I would always, and I say this all the time, newer traders, they know exactly when to buy and where to buy, but their emotions may be causing them to experience hesitation or lack of confidence in themselves when they do take an entry. And once I stopped doing what was, I guess, intrinsically what felt right, like buying calls on an uptick, right, or buying puts or on a downtick, right. That's wrong, right? We shouldn't be going long on big green candles, and we shouldn't be going short on big red candles. We should always be looking at the opposite perspective, and that's not to say not in a general sense, right? Of course, near a key level or indicator or something like that, or point of reversal, but um once I got the mind, like my head game down, right? My mind understanding how I could, come to the desk each morning if I miss a trade, or if, let's say I left some on the table and it rips another, 30, 40, 50%, right? I can't be mad about it. And once I accepted that, I mean, it just was a kind of flourish of progression, right? I was in a much cleaner state of mind, and wasn't so focused on missing that one trade, because yeah, I missed that one, but there's 20 more on the same chart later in the day.
Yeah, I think like people say this all the time. You see it all over Twitter. You see every single person ever say this about how the market's 95% psychological. And you'll see newer traders that are like, yeah, no, it's not. And then they start to get more experience and they're like, yeah, it really is. Like, to make that jump, it is 95% in your head. You get to a certain point where you know what to do, like you said, like you know how to execute. You know your TA gets to a point where you're good enough, but it's making that psychological jump. And something that I see people struggle with too is they're, instead of staring at technicals or the chart, they're staring at the fluctuation in their position. It's up, it's green. Oh, now they're red. They're not basing anything off technicals. I think that psychological jump is very important, like you talked about.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Like in my Discord, right, the House of Stacks, I talk about and touch on the psychological aspect of trading, every trading session, every nightly live session, right? As traders, right, this is probably one of the most difficult, probably top three difficult things I've done in my life, right? And it's the most rewarding, but it took a lot of kind of stress and anger and anxiety and trust in myself to get to the point where I am today. And you have to be able to accept that trading will destroy you, right? It will, but that shouldn't scare you away because there are so many positives to it. If you can just understand, at the end of the day, right, these are vertical box and whisker plots, the candlesticks. That's all we're looking at day by day, right? This is eighth grade stuff, and
algebra, baby.
Yeah, exactly. This is very simple things, but like you said, as humans, we tend to overcomplicate everything. And for me, I didn't truly have a passion in life, right? I didn't finish college, right? Was in there for a year, did various jobs. I used to bartend, wait tables, detail cars, sell motorcycles, like anything, that, I could make money in a quick amount of time in some sense of a hustle. But once I delved into trading, right, that's where I was like, this is where I was meant to be, aside from the money, aside from everything like that, right? This is what I have a passion for. I can sit here and talk about trading forever, right? And that may kind of seem boring or this or that to some people, but if you're not truly enamored by this or obsessed with this, then it's probably not for you, right? You're probably just in it for the money. And who's not in it for the money, right? But it's a strange kind of feeling to when you put on an A+ setup trade. That's a much better feeling than the money that's being made. It's like, damn, I was right. And
I fucking did that.
Yeah, I did that. Right. Exactly. And, that feeling right there is very unique to trading. So, if you're not passionate about this, it may not be for you. Right. But for those who are, trading is going to drag you through the mud. It's going to kick you. It's going to spit on you. But at the end of the day, you can overcome this. And I would never give up. Right. Had I given up, I wouldn't, have any of the kind of, achieved any of the goals or any of the kind of prospects in my life that I have now.
All right, Maple. So I kind of want to ask you a little bit about FinTwit. There's a lot of different, opinions out there. Some people love it. Some people hate it. Some people think it's the best thing that's ever happened. But what do you think? Because I think there's kind of a mixture. There's some good, there's some bad. So just give us your opinion and kind of why about it.
Okay. I feel like I do enjoy it, right? I actually love the community. But just like with any other community, there are those, who are focused within the community and are there to be positive, especially a positive influence and help others. And then there are those who are, kind of bring the negative energy into the community, right? Tearing other people down. And they're driven by, jealousy and envy and everything. So, just like trading, I block out the noise, right? You just can't pay any mind or any attention to that. It's wasted energy. So at the end of the day, I'm here to help everyone. And you guys are as well, right? Fantastic podcast, very educational and informative.
Thanks, man.
And, that's what FinTwit should be about. There are some negative aspects, the pumping and everything like that. But, that's the market,
Yeah, it is what it is. There's been pumps going on forever. Like the market makers, they do a little pumping here and there.
Oh yeah, PT upgrades, this or that. It's all the same.
Yeah, we talk about PTs as in like people on Twitter doing them. It's like you're bad, but then we got HC Wainwright over here pulling some fucking wool over everybody's eyes every few months, trying to pump some low float fucking bio stock that has
Oh
never
yeah, man.
passed a trial in 4 years, and it's like,
Yep.
it's like,
Dude.
what are
Yep.
you doing,
I
HC?
They're just, lining you up to be their liquidity, man. That's it.
I saw some today. I'm not gonna mention who it was, but it was like a $4 stock, and they go,
Me
oh,
going to Finviz to queue at
they
$4.
go, man, this is 20 minimum. Like that's what they put. That's what they tweeted. This is a $20 stock minimum, and I looked and it's like $4. I'm like, based off what? Like, why
Yeah.
is it? Why? Like, I don't know, man. It's just like like you said, there's different sides to FinTwit, but I think like what we're doing and trying to like turn that narrative of like let's flex all this random shit that doesn't matter or
Dude, that
whatever.
knife was beautiful, man. I got straight
Oh,
FOMO
the
off that
knife.
knife.
I'm like, wait, what are
Dude,
you
Yes,
I
talking
man.
about?
wanted to cut myself with that, not in a bad way, but like it was so beautiful. I was like, wow, I'd love this on my body.
Yeah,
It,
man, exactly.
It
dude,
was
it
fucking
took me. I
gorgeous.
never buy myself anything, but it like took me months to buy that, and
How
it
much
wasn't
was
even.
it, if you don't mind me asking?
It was like $220. So
That's
like,
that's an expensive knife, though.
but like
Hey, man, but
I've
that's
never
your
had
passion, brother.
yeah, like I said that's my Rolex because like literally I would take that over. I mean, I'd take that over like a material anything.
Dude, it
Oh,
was
I'm the
gorgeous.
same way. I don't buy anything. I literally save as much as I can, and I hope everyone else does. Right. I'm 24. Right. I own my house outright. Own two cars outright. Everything's paid for. Um, and that's really just from an experience from like selling cars. Right. Seeing people just kind of screw their life up for some kind of uh, you know, material thing like a car.
Payments and shit,
Yep.
man. Those are
Oh,
those are
awful.
the worst.
Yep. Yep.
If you can, if anyone's listening to this, if you have the means, pay for shit outright or pay for shit in a different option other than, getting a loan and doing stuff like that. Some of that stuff is so down the line, it costs you so much
Oh,
money.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, what you pay for a $30,000 car turns into a $50,000 car by the time it's paid off. And then there's so many sneaky little things that they add into the back writing at the end. It's really, really kind of shady, right? And that's the business. I did it for years. It's
Yeah.
awful.
Well, I know that I had a listener question from someone in my Discord who DM'd me. They wanted to know if you have any tips on trading the open, because as we were talking earlier, the open is one of the hardest things to trade. It's something that can move up, down, up, down. You can get chopped out really easily. So, do you have any insight on that?
Yeah, I've met a lot of you guys while trading small caps, and for my schedule, I like being done around 12 to 2 o'clock each day, right? So I would have to trade the open. I would learn how to trade pre-market, understand the strength of these pre-market levels and stuff. And some of my key takeaways from years of doing that was, anything off the open, that's just a bonus for me, right? There's a whole day to be developed. I need to be taking very quick profit. Now, you can take, half off, three-fourths off on a scalp, and then maybe leave a quarter to ride or something like that if that's part of your plan. But for me, it was always better to just swipe what was right there in front of me. Um, I always, an hour before, I also look at the indexes, right? I look at NASDAQ futures, I look at VIX, I look at SPY, I look at, QQQ and everything, which is the same thing as NQ. But really preparing myself, but not, freaking myself out or psyching myself out before open. So through that, I take a very technical approach, right? I draw my pre-market high and low, which are significant levels. I mark any supply and demand zones that I see on the hourly or maybe intraday on the 10-minute. I remain fluid and open to any situation off of the open, right? It could be like you guys talk about, right? It could dip down, and then that's a prime opportunity to go long. And then as soon as it goes long, right, you have to flip short, right? There's a lot of up and down chop movement that, in order for me to, walk away profitable each morning or at least break even, I had to be fluid in the market and just aware of any and all situation. I also, before open, I also take note of what my indicators are doing and where they're placed, right? So I'll look if, hey, is price under the 200 EMA on the 5 or the 10 minute? Is it above it or below it? Where's VWAP, right? Is price respecting it as support or resistance? What are my 9 and 20 doing, right? Are they above or below each other? What is that interaction? As well as zooming out, right? Getting a sense of the macro trend, right? The big picture. I know that we can intraday, day trade, and everything like that, marking pivot points, right? Higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, lower lows, but that also purports over to the macro trend, right? Your 1 hour, your 4 hour, right? What is that current trend, and how can you fit yourself into that certain phase, right? If you're in a downtrend and you just now got a lower low in pre-market, right? That's a very strong dip. You have a high probability of that ripping up because you've already the shorts have already gotten a successful trade out of the lower low in pre-market, as well as there's less risk for longs, right? It's already pushed so far down. There's minimal risk to try. Um, as well as off the open, you have to respect your stop loss. I preach and preach and preach this, but you do not have a trade at any point in the day unless you define your stop loss first, right? You have to know, hey, if price comes to this area, I don't want any part of it, right? The trade didn't go as planned, and I need to jump ship, right? That's when you hit the flatten button.
I
So
think to go off that stop loss thing, I was talking about this today. That's why the 9 or something like the 9 or something like your supply and demand levels in either direction are so useful, because that risk is clearly defined for you.
for sure.
Say you enter something out of demand, it breaks below that demand level, you have to get out, depending on if there's any support below or whatnot. But same with the 9, you play on confirmation of the 9 in either direction, but it breaks back in either direction. That's your get out, and that's why those are so important, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah, I definitely agree.
the thing I got to add on to that is there's a lot of things where people will just cut when it breaks the 9 EMA, and they forget wicks exist.
They
Wicks do
don't wait.
exist.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to wait
Mm-hmm.
for that confirmation, whether your confirmation comes from, a 3 minute candle closing or a 5 minute candle closing, whatever it is, wait for confirmation for it either closing above that 9 EMA or back testing that 9
That's
EMA
yeah.
and bouncing up, using it as support, that kind of thing.
That's why time frame probability is so important, and that's why you should be looking at multiple time frames. Like if you're just looking at, for instance, the 1 minute, you're gonna miss it, essentially that the one's noise within the 3 or the 5 or whatever, so on and so forth. I did a thread the other day. It was a DraftKings put opportunity. If you entered on the 5, you saw, okay, it then confirmed back above the 9, but on the 15 was still trapped under the 9, and then got rejected hard at the 9 and rode down. That's the thing with time frame probability. If you're not flipping between multiple time frames, you're doing yourself a disservice, in my opinion.
Yep, I completely agree to that. Right, you're then creating bias where you may have not have thought you were creating a bias.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Maple, what are the shittiest stocks that you know of? I have a few that are on my mind. I want to get both of yours opinions on what are some of
I
the
haven't
crap ones.
traded a small cap in quite a while, but just think some things that come to mind. Most recently the whole Pet Z kind of thing. I think it's at 50 cents or something now, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
ONTX, I don't know if you guys remember that one from last year.
That was
Just
nasty. The cancer one?
yes, man, ONTX, yep.
Brutal.
And a lot of the China tickers like IKNX and stuff, I just, I would get super just like bias permeable, this or that. And it's super thin. So the spreads on those just chunked you if you were wrong, right? So
Yeah.
um, I haven't really been going through that so much trading large caps, which has been a great kind of thing for me, right? I'm being paid more for my time, right? The moves happen much more quickly, as well as I'm being paid more for my accuracy with TA.
Beautiful, beautiful. I have a few. I actually also have a large cap that I think is a trash stock. I think Moderna is a bad stock.
Oh yeah,
Like the company, I think that's a bad company. I know that's kind of a popular opinion. A lot of people think that it's, bad or, kind of a fraud in that whatever the market cap range it is. But for me, it's those stocks that they like flip whatever the trend is. So like DPW, DSS, those kinds of names where they're like all of a sudden creating NFTs now and like
oh yeah, yeah. DPW had its hand in every little bucket, and I don't
yeah.
know. It
Like
never did anything, I mean, maybe a
yeah,
couple pumps here or there, but
it would
uh,
set up so beautifully technically, and then all of a sudden they'd create some bullshit news, and somehow it'd go down. It'd be like, dude, like how is this going down? It's because all of those smart investors know exactly what the hell they're looking at. They're looking at a stock that they're going to do whatever it takes to. Because I know DSS, like they acquired something that was like a COVID pill company, a bio company, mid bio or mid like COVID. And then all of a sudden, but before they were like a security company when we were having all those security breaches.
oh
Now they're
yeah,
doing crypto. It's like,
yep,
dude,
NFTs, yeah,
what are you
exactly.
fucking doing? It's those are the two that come to mind. Medex comes to
Oh,
mind for
Medex,
me.
ENUV, INUV, that
Yeah.
or IZEA, a lot of these,
Izea, that's a
the
dude.
dude, yeah,
Izea, that's one too for sure. Everyone thought
yep.
that they were like gonna somehow like
The
be like a
TikTok
TikTok.
news and
Yeah, yeah.
yep.
Yeah. Ant, you got any that come to mind?
I mean, you already know what I'm gonna say. The all the Twitter shit, like the wishes and
Oh yeah,
AHT and
AHT, dude. That's
yeah,
a dying
HT.
hotel
all
company.
the shippers. Shippers are horrible.
Yep,
Shipping
yep.
It's
tops,
sad
man.
because like it's not me talking shit. I don't try to like stir the pot, but those are the ones that are just in. They're in no man's land. They're like, if you watch Stranger Things, those are in the upside down at this point.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah.
Dude, also
No point of no
UAVS.
return. Oh
You
yeah,
that
Uh-huh.
thing's like
UAVS.
one warehouse in like Kansas or something that's like the size of like a small Walmart, not even a super Walmart.
Yeah,
UAVS is not even a
It's a
super
yeah.
Walmart.
Do you remember
It's a
that?
tractor
It's
supply.
a tractor supply.
That what was it? The Amazon drone news that they had or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, I don't
Dude,
know.
that was actually one of my biggest losses in my trading career. I think that was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe. I don't remember, but some conference call where like I was an absolute idiot. Like, and I bought in, and then I was like, dude, Amazon is totally fucking like thinking back on it, bro, it's a literal side, like the side of their like warehouse is made of straight just like sheet metal. Like,
Yeah, it's like
bro,
a barn or something.
it's like a
Yeah,
barn. Yeah, literally,
yeah.
they just made like a
It's a
fucking like
pole barn.
lean-to. They made a lean-to, had one dude with a fucking phone inside calling people and called it a company. But I was convinced that Amazon, they were partnering, and then their CEO fucking resigned on the call, and I
Oh
lost
my
like half
gosh.
my money in that position. But whatever, it was just super funny to look back on those
Yeah,
bad
man,
trades
live
we
and learn.
made.
That's the thing. I always look back at my biggest fails. I bought Kodak at 50, like it was just not a good time. But I look back and it's just, kind of a comedic.
Yeah, it's always, dude. Kodak was nuts. I remember I was having dinner with my girl's parents or her dad at that point, and I saw it at 7. And Zach Morris was like, "Hey, man, like this is like," he was like tweeting about it, and I was like, "Oh," and then it ran to like 12. I was like, "I can't buy it now. It was just
Oh,
7. I
yep.
can't buy it at 12." And then all of a sudden, I look back like 2 hours later, and it was like $60 just because Trump
Yep.
mentioned it.
Oh man, yeah.
Absolutely
The night
crazy.
before I was like, oh, this thing, like you're saying, at like 10, $12, and then the next morning it gaps up and I'm sitting there like, of course, FOMOing into it and stuff. So,
That's how
but
it goes.
That's funny.
That is how it
Yeah, oh,
goes.
it I bought at 50, it halted down and then it opened at 24 and I was like, okay. Yeah, that's my day. I'm done, so.
Dude, I got a lost story to tell you. This actually happened within the past year. This
This
was
was a couple
I'm a
months ago.
yeah, I consider myself a good trader now. Not a great trader because I don't ever want to let myself think that, but I consider myself a good trader now. And this was a few months ago. This was my biggest loss ever. I was so confident on a binary bio, due to some things that I won't get on the air, but I was super confident in this stock FBRX. And the reason was it was atopic dermatitis. They'd had good news about their drug come out regardless of what it was. They had good news. I was convinced it was going to be good phase, 2 or 3 news. And it was, $30. My average was like 26. I could have got in like a straight up, just like, 18, 17% profit out of nowhere. They dropped their news like weeks early. They told us it was going to be like a certain date in September. And they dropped it 2 weeks early. It was bad news. Stock opens at $3 from fucking 30. And I lose literally like
Wow.
95% of my position. That was like, I lost, I think like 5 or 8% of my trading account, somewhere in that range in one single
Wow,
day,
that's
in one single trade.
crazy. Yeah, and like that's not even bad risk to reward, right? You probably put 10% of your account or something,
Yeah,
but
I
on a
was
drop
smart with
from
it. I wasn't
yeah,
stupid.
oh for sure. But on a drop like that,
You lose it all
I remember when you
almost.
texted me about that. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that was absolutely brutal. That was, and I remember I'd even told people I dropped my due diligence and stuff. The due diligence is still good to this day. Sometimes I go read it if I want to be sad, but I like go read it and I'm like, man, that was such a good setup via like due diligence wise. Like I had talked with like executives of the company about their products. I'd talked to scientists who were like in the field of the product. Everyone was telling me the same exact thing. Like the action of this drug is good. They've had data that shows that it's good. And then somehow it failed flukely, which it's not a fluke. They failed. I'm hopeful. I'm just hopeful. I'm like, it was a fluke, but it wasn't a fluke, whatever it was. But, lost a whole bunch of money is what it is. Made it back within 2 weeks though. So anyone who's listening, have a big loss, you just get back on the horse and you keep going.
Yep. Yep. You got to pick it back up.
Exactly, man. What are your favorite setups? Just to
Um,
get one last trade in, or one last trading question in for
yeah,
you.
for sure. My favorite setups. I really enjoy like head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders. It shows a kind of a sentiment flip, right? An exchange of power between bears or bulls, or vice versa. I like the doji method that I've kind of gone over on YouTube. I love 90 MA pullbacks, a break and base, which is essentially a retest after you break, a key level or indicator, like if you break low of day, breaks it, comes back up, bases it. The reason why it works is because those longs have the opportunity on the base, right, when it comes back up to that demand or something or low of the day to stop out for break even, right? But what shorts will do, they'll sell into that to take those stop outs away from longs. So like the break and base, 200 EMA reactions on the 5 and the 10 minute. If you go look on any really large cap or index ticker on the 5 or 10 minute, you'll see that the 200 EMA is a very strong sense of support or resistance, and it tends to ride it, either on a bearish or bullish sentiment. As well as supply and demand zones, of course. My favorite and most simple trades are zone to zone trades, taking something from demand to supply. I don't really understand why a lot of people have problems with range days, right? Trend or not trend, but range days, like channel days, where it's just trading within 1 or 1.5%, right? Because that's just like tennis. You're just going back and forth. Trading zone to zone, right? As well as pivot point sentiment transfers. So, like I talked about with the head and shoulders or inverse head and shoulders. Um, if you're in a downtrend and in the micro trend, you begin to see, if you're in a downtrend, of course, you're going to see lower highs and lower lows. But the moment that you see that first higher low is where the sentiment will flip, right? Then you're going to see, hey, are bulls going to respond with a higher high and then negate this downtrend, right? Showing a sense of a confirmation of weakness. So I really like pivot point sentiments, as well as VWAP and channels, right? Channels are one of my favorite things to trade. I always value horizontal trend lines over vertical trend lines. And that's just has fared me well for the last few years.
I agree with that. I like horizontal over vertical things. That the more vertical they are they as strong? I don't think so, but
Right.
I think I have a strong opinion on things. The more vertical they get, where the fuck is the substance? That's less time.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
But we want to wrap things up here, but we want to thank you a ton for coming on MapleStax. We want you to give you a chance to give some last advice to the listener, something that you think they might, on this last part of the interview, maybe get some substance from.
Okay. Yeah. It's been a pleasure. Right. Thanks for having me, guys. It's been a great time.
For sure, man.
One of the most simplest things that I really talk about and wish that I had known as a kind of newer trader was that kind of psychological barrier of going long when it's on red candles, right, on a dip near a kind of supporting level or something like that, something that I can base risk off of, and the same like going short on green candles, right? Every single time that I would FOMO into a green candle, right? That's what it is when you enter on when something rips up and you've missed your entry. It didn't fare me too well, and I was sick of it. I was truly disgusted with myself with the amount of times that I was FOMOing into green candles. So once I started going short on green candles and long on red candles near, of course, levels of possible reversal or, kind of something to base risk off of, I started seeing a very strong kind of correlation with my progression during trading. So, as well as save your money, right? Stop getting loans on cars, guys. Uh, you know, focus on the
Yeah.
quality of life. Money's not everything. I know we all trade for money, but I trade. I like being done by 1 or 2 o'clock each day. Then I go play tennis. I go to the beach. I enjoy my life.
The
So
beach, hell yeah, bro.
yeah, it's like 10 minutes from me, dude. I go there like every day. So
Oh man, I would too. I live in Iowa. All I go to is a cornfield.
There's no beach in
Yeah.
Iowa.
If I go to a lake nearby, but then it's basically filled with cow poop.
Yeah, that
hey,
don't
man,
count.
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
not a beach. But
That's
yeah, we
funny.
want to thank you, it's not man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
thank you.
really appreciate it. Let's stay in touch and hopefully do it again sometime.
For sure, man. So
Yeah,
have a good one, bro.
Yep, you guys as well.
thank
Thanks.
you. Yeah, I don't know. Like there's no reason to. Like, if you're having any bias, the only reasoning is, one, you're following somebody that's putting out information that regarding trading one way, and they're putting out a prediction, or you don't know how to play both sides. Like, if you're right now, if you only know how to play long, or you are a perm bull, quote unquote, then you're not having a good time. I mean, the way the market's been is every single day we see it's a bull trap into a huge flush into lunch, and then somewhere around like noonish, maybe a little bit later, some V-shaped recoveries and hooks start to be placed where these downtrends are broken, and then they'll run a bit for an hour, hour and a half, and then they try to flush us into close. If you haven't recognized that now, or you're listening to people on Twitter that are predicting something and it never works out, you need to get away from that. I tweeted this. There's so many. I see people that are like, somebody before the CPI was released last week. Oh, it's time for swings. The day before CPI was released. Why? Why would you ever say that? And like, how do you have 50,000 followers, or people that they're trying to throw predictions out and they're just continuously wrong? Why? We should have no bias. If you go into each day with no bias and you have levels charted to play either way, then you are sitting pretty. If you are going into each day and you're like, you have a specific bias towards something in either direction, why? There's no point. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, man, because here's the thing is all of the traders who are really long bias right now, are they loud on Twitter? Are
I
they,
haven't heard a word from them.
saying, yeah, are they tweeting we're gonna butt fuck the shorts like normal? Like all those things were like fuck the shorts are all over Twitter when the market is long. Right now the market isn't long. Like it's not a bear market. I don't want to say that because I don't want to sound like an emotional cutler, but it's one of those things where it's definitely trending down. Like I'm looking at SPY right here. We haven't made, we got to new highs back in, late December, which isn't that long ago, but we haven't made like new highs, like a leg up since
Yeah.
early November. Like we legged up in October to November. October was a good month, legged up. Since then, it's just kind of been sideways, and now we're breaking down. So if you're one of the people who are, like Ant was saying, really really long bias, now's the time to learn. Now's the time to get your bear flags ready. Watch those bear flags. Watch those, inverse cup and handle, inverse head and shoulders, those levels, level breaks, retest, further lows. All of those are things you need to be really, really competent with. Those, being stuck underneath the 9 EMA and playing when that candle comes up to the 9 EMA. Cats are awesome, except for that single little thing. So side note, everyone, if you want all of your candles broken and to have random shards of glass in your feet at all times, just get a cat. That's all it takes. I literally step on a fucking chunk of glass this size every week now, at least one time. And then I limp for 2 days because my foot hurts, but
Dude, what's funny?
what it is.
I was like 6. I was in my basement barefoot. I stepped on a nail. Like running down the steps, I stepped on a nail and it went through the top of my foot. And
Ouch,
dude,
bro.
I'll never forget that.
That's got to be some pain that you don't forget. Yeah.
Like I'm running down the stairs and get to the bottom and like full force right on a nail.
full weight straight. Was it rusty? Did you
Yeah, I
turn
had to
into a
go get a
zombie?
tetanus shot and everything. They had to rip
Dude,
it
those
out.
hurt. I got a tetanus shot a while back because I scraped my hand on something stupid, and bro, my arm hurt for a fucking few days. It was
Yeah,
pretty bad. But
yeah, they're nasty.
yeah. Anyways, if you're a trader who's long biased right now, it's not going well for you. So just learn the way of the bear. That's all I can say on that. If you need someone, come DM me, DM, Tony. We'll both help you out. It's just it's not the right action right now to be only going bull.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. It really, it gets me going when I see people on Twitter that are just being irresponsible in terms of like, you have followers, you shouldn't be putting out a concrete prediction, and
Yeah.
especially when you're continuously wrong. Like, these people follow you for a reason. Like, they follow you because they value your opinion. They don't or whatever it may be. They don't, like, they're listening to what you're saying. They're not just following you for no reason. Like, I haven't overnighted anything in a long time, because I just don't see. I just feel like the risk outweighs the potential reward. I see people saying, "Oh, I'm overnighting these," or "I'm swinging this and this," and it doesn't do well. And if people are following you, it's not doing well for them either.
Yeah.
So I hate to be on here and just hate, but I don't know. I just feel like we should be more responsible as a whole.
Yeah, there's a lot of differences in this market than there was to last year and the year before. This is a pretty difficult market. Like a lot of times, there's macro events that you can, determine if SPY is going to go up, SPY is going to go down, hold stuff overnight, whatever. Usually it works. Usually, I know CPI is tomorrow, I'm going to hold puts, or Powell is talking, you're going to hold puts, or whatever. Something good is happening, you're going to hold calls. But right now, some of that stuff is just not working. Like, Powell will be speaking and we'll have a green day. And then it'll be, like jobs will be out and it's good numbers and it'll be a red day. It makes no sense. So there's really no basis to be swinging things more than lotto sized. Like lotto size is probably the most that you should be holding overnight, unless it's like a swing position in something that has very, very good catalyst. Because right now I'm not even swinging anything, and I'm a swing trader primarily. I haven't swung anything for almost a year now because things haven't been working. It's since like last March or since last April. I haven't been swinging a lot because first off, IWM is in the trash. And then as well, just catalysts haven't been hitting right. Things haven't been working. So I've been kind of on the back burner doing options, which I like. I don't love as much as I love swings. So when swings come back, I'll be ready. But as of right now, I'm not a perma bear, but I'm getting pretty damn close to playing more bear than bull. That's for sure.
Yes, like regards to that too, quickly, is like IWM today. This is the 19th, made new 52-week lows. I mean, yeah, swings are not the move at the moment. It's just very risky, especially if we continue with how we've been going here. I mean, IWM has a ton of room. Like you look at this, it has a ton of room.
I'm pulling it up. Oh yeah. Holy shit, it has a ton of
Like if
room.
we start testing 200, and we break below 200, it's going to get a little bit scary for people.
Bro, under 200, I think I see like honestly my legitimate answer is like 160.
Yeah, under 200. See, this is the thing. People, I had actually some questions today, so about IWM levels in regards to supply and demand, which I think in the future we'll do a separate episode solely on supply and demand, because I think it's a great thing to talk about. We touch on it here and there. We touched on it last week with Givy. I just did a thread on Twitter about it. I've done various lessons on it. I know Teddy uses it. But I just looking at it, supply and demand plays out very, very well on your QQQs, SPYs, IWM. When you go so far dated back as to December 2020, November 2020, these levels aren't really going to play out. When you go, it gets you get in this gray area when you go so far back. Levels like that don't play out. Now what you're looking for is psych levels. The first psych level now is 200.
Yeah.
Obviously, the $1 increment levels are important too, but that 200 level, that's such an important level. If it breaks below that 200 level, which I think it will, there's a lot of room.
Yeah. We were talking also, it looks extremely similar to XBI. If you go look at XBI, where it had that base level, XBI had a base around like 120, 119. It broke below it and then, came back up, retested 120, couldn't break 120. And now it's down to, is this 2 year lows? It might
Uh,
be. It's close. It's not quite, I don't think,
yeah.
but almost. Like it's pretty dang close to 2 year lows. It's below $100. XBI was, 170 last February. So almost half. That's nuts. That's absolutely crazy. I actually think that's going to create kind of an opportunity in the future. XBI will, because usually, honestly, something that a lot of people don't know is bios in a bear market usually do all right. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of odd, but I need to do some more research probably on the reasoning for that. But I do know that in the past when we've had rough markets, because before COVID, there were a few periods that I had rough markets. Nothing like this. This is actually rougher than anything I've ever been through market wise. Bios did all right. Bios were something that people could rely on for catalysts and stuff. So I think that might be something that we look into if the market gets really bad, which we're kind of on that tipping point of like we're at like, oh, it's just choppy to like it could get bad. Like we could get like pretty bad sell-offs on the Qs, SPY, XBI, IWM. So
Yeah.
just something to keep an eye on.
That it circles back to what we've been talking about for a while, where people were saying, "Oh, because it's a new year, the market's gonna be strong," or "Oh, because historically January's been good for swings." Like that doesn't mean anything.
Dude, no one knows anything about the market if we're being completely honest. Like literally
No.
no one knows anything.
That's why having no bias is the best possible thing you can do. If
Yeah,
you
trade
have,
what's in front of you.
yeah, if you trade options or whatever you trade, if you have levels charted the day before in either direction, it doesn't matter what happens. If you're all
Yeah.
cash, if you're all cash every day, and you go into the next day, it doesn't matter what happens. It's I don't know.
Bro, this close on SPY is nasty. We're
Yep.
recording this right after close, and so I didn't really get a great chance to look at close and stuff, but this close is really fucking bad. Like I had one of our supports mapped out as, 250, 252 kind of because it was kind of just a zone that I had mapped out from 250 to 250 actually 3 and it closed in that zone and it looks like dude 250 or 450, what am I saying, 254, 450 could come pretty quick, and then if we bust that, man, it could get nasty. We're going to see 200 then
There's
easily.
many gaps on the way down. There's like
Yeah.
dollar gaps all the way down to like 430 ish.
Yeah.
So we're just in a weird spot. But to be honest, you have a sense of peace when you can just do whatever. You can trade whatever's gonna happen.
And be done at the day, end of the day.
Exactly. You don't have to be worried all night if your position's gonna open green the next day or whatnot.
Yeah. Did I see you with a Moscow little mug there?
Oh yeah, you like this?
Yeah. Did you make it? Did you make a Moscow mule?
Oh yeah, I did. I thought you said that. I thought you meant did I make the mug? No, I didn't make the mug.
Did you make a cast for the mug and then melt the copper?
No, yeah, a Moscow Mule. I like those. I might get made fun of, but and if you don't
Dude,
know what
they're
they
good.
are, yeah, they're ginger beer, a little bit of lime juice, vodka, and some people put cranberry, a little bit of cranberry in them. Those are good with cranberry too, but yeah, I love them. And you
What kind of
have to.
vodka do you use?
Oh man, it's that Japanese vodka. I can't pronounce it.
Oh, I
Showed
know what
you-
you're talking
yeah,
about.
it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
But dude, I can't find those sodas. Those sodas that they don't have them by me.
The Bud Light hard sodas or whatever. I made a gin and tonic because I keep seeing people like, first off, I was listening to some rap song called Gin and Juice, and they were talking about gin and juice, and everyone was like, I was like, damn, what the hell is this? Gin and juice? I didn't even know what gin was like very much. I knew that it was an alcohol, but I
Yeah.
had no idea like what it tasted like, anything like that. And so I went and got one, and I was debating if I should go like original, if I should go like flavored, and they only had two flavors. Get this. Their flavors were mulberry, like mulberry, MUL berry, which I've never had in my entire life. I didn't know what that was. And then it was Slovenia orange, which I have no idea what that is either. But I got the orange one, and then I made one and put orange in it, and it's actually pretty fire. I think it said like 2 parts tonic water, 1 part gin, and then ice, and then the orange slice, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, those are smooth.
Yeah, tastes kind of like, this might get some hate, but like a a bitter LaCroix, if you know what I mean.
Dude,
Like a
LaCroix.
LaCroix with like some extra kick to it.
I love LaCroix. Bro,
I pound LaCroix all day.
what did you tweet this Saturday that I wanted to bring up? Oh man.
Bro, my tweets were super underrated this Saturday. I think I'm gonna go back and like
You
read
tweeted
through 'em.
something and I forgot. I forget. I wanted to ask you about it, but I can't remember. God damn it.
I'm gonna go back. We're gonna talk about them because I thought I had some fire tweets this weekend. I didn't even look back on them to see like if people commented or anything on them. Sorry if you commented. I don't look back all that often after I have a night where I'm kind of out of myself and tweeting that kind of. Oh, here we go. Here we go. All right. So I said, oh my goodness, there's quite a few. I said, you're younger in all of your pictures. You only live once is a direct argument to you only live once. W starts with the letter D. All moms are bodybuilders. What?
I remember the W one.
And then I said, not gonna lie, the billionaires on our planet racing to get off of Earth is not a good sign for us. Dude, this one I think was my favorite. I said, bro, a psychiatrist could refer to all his clients as D's nuts.
Was it this week about the bed? You wake up, the bed one.
What was it?
That's the one, the bed one. You're born in your bed. You're something and something else.
Oh, that was last weekend.
Oh, that's the one.
You're made in a bed. You're born in a bed, and you die in a bed.
That was fire. Yeah.
Dude, that's nuts. Let me go find if there's another one. I said eye drops are pretty much blinker fluid. Do bald people use body wash for their head?
Dude, when you start tweeting everybody in my Discord, it just starts posting them in there. It's so funny.
Do they really? Dude, they don't even talk about it in my Discord.
They put dude. I get everything, and they're all cracking up. It's so funny.
Oh man, dude, I love Saturday night tweets. Sometimes I just like scroll through Reddit and find some. Sometimes they're off the top of my head. It is what it is.
Those fights
go
this
with
week,
the flow. They're fire, man.
Nagano fight.
Gain is gonna put him on roller skates. I think.
Gain's gonna knock him out.
I think so too. 3rd or 4th round. You heard it here first. I'm gonna go with one. I'm gonna go with 4th round knockout by Gain.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gain gone.
What Gagne or whatever the hell it is? It's French or whatever. There's no way it lasts more than 2 rounds, in my opinion.
You think?
I just don't see how. I just don't. I mean Gain Nagano. He has 2 rounds. Gain can go the whole fight. Yeah. I just don't see it getting past 2 rounds.
I think Ngannou's going to be really hard to knock out. That's my reason that I said it's going to go long. I think he's going to get really tired in like the end of the 2nd and the 3rd, and then his chin is just going to be legendary because he got hit with some hard fucking punches by Jairzinho Rosenstruik in that like 10-second fight. Yeah. And Jairzinho can hit like a truck. So I don't know. What do you think of that co-main with Moreno versus Figgy 3? I got Moreno, I think.
I'm not a fan of the, like, they wanted to do Volkanovski versus Holloway again, which I believe Holloway beat him the 2nd time for sure.
I think so too.
But I'm not a fan of these like trilogy fights because the first one was a draw. Fig retained the belt, and then Moreno beat him. I wouldn't have accepted that 3rd fight because here's the thing. Now, if Moreno loses, there's going to be a 4th fight. There'll
probably be a 5th fight too.
You're gonna fight a dude 4. You're gonna fight a dude 4 times.
Yeah.
Like go fight Cejudo. I'd like to see that. Go fight Cejudo.
I think, honestly, man, if I think what it all comes down to is Figueiredo's weight cut. If he has a good weight cut, he probably wins. If he has a bad weight cut, he probably gets stopped within the first 3 again. Exactly like last fight, he looked like a walking zombie on the scale. So I think it all comes down to that. But I like both of them, but I'm starting to not like Figueiredo's whole like tough guy thing. He was like shooting his belt on a video and like acting like he hates Legos because Moreno's basically just like a nerd. He likes Legos. He's super
like a grown
funny.
Child, yeah.
I know. It's kind of awesome though because he's like he could beat the shit out of literally like 99% of the population, but he just like doesn't care and he acts like he.
Did you see they made him a Lego belt?
Yeah, that's what Figueiredo was shooting, bro. That's what he shot with a real gun. they had him like shooting it with like glasses on and shit, acting like he was a tough guy. I was like, come on, man. Like that's
Yeah,
just like you're trying to pull something out of thin
that's
air.
stupid. But no, I'm excited for those fights.
Me too. We might have to hop on voice call or something for that.
Yeah,
You can hear the Saturday Night Thoughts while they're actually happening. You'll
you're
get
just off a
you'll get
whole edible watching the
you'll get
fights.
live commentary, bro.
That'd be so, bro. That's what they should do. Get Joe Rogan and all them on like DMT and then broadcast a fight. Oh my god,
For
that'd be so
real.
funny.
They'd be talking like conspiracy theories while watching fights and be like, "Oh shit,
Joe
what do you think
Rogan
about the
gets up and
Earth? Is it
walks
flat?"
into the ring.
Oh man, dude, people start to hate Joe Rogan. They're starting to really dislike his like commentary and shit for UFC.
I see so much shit about him, like, oh, the CDC saying he's a threat to public health and safety because of the things he says on his podcast. And
Dude is just talking.
yeah, the only thing I don't like is like he is very strongly opinionated about certain things, and like he'll have guests on, and he'll have guests on just to like debate them and not even
Yeah.
like try to reason with or like listen to their opinion, which I'm such a like me and you both are such a like not opinionated people. Like we're open to just like discussing things like and seeing other point of views, and I feel like he brings people on just to shit talk them. But like I still love him. Like I don't know.
I feel like sometimes he just like he knows that the controversy is going to get him in the media a little tiny bit in the back of his head. So he has people on and he has them say crazy stuff. And then he says crazy stuff in return, just on the opposite side of what they say. Or he
Yeah.
like will disagree with them. One of them will end up being wrong, which is like really cool that you guys can have those conversations. But sometimes it just seems like he's really just like trying to be contrarian, if you know what I mean. Like he's trying to just like be the different person in there whose like view is so crazy out of this world that like people are going to notice it and be like, wow, Joe Rogan is such a forward thinker type of thing. I don't know, but
Yeah, no, that's I feel that.
he's he's like actually been such like a, I don't know what to call him, like a, I almost said founding father, like
Pioneer.
yeah, pioneer, perfect, of like the podcasting, like just like sitting down talking shit. Like I didn't really know all that much about podcasts, and then all of a sudden, like 5 or 6 years ago, Joe Rogan got really popular, and then everyone, like, we're here doing podcasts. I have a lot of people listen to podcasts because they talk about cool shit. You learn stuff, you hear cool stuff, but really interesting.
Yeah, it's been how long has he had his? It's been a long time.
He's been
Like
doing
10
it
years
for,
or something.
yeah, like a long ass time.
Yeah, that's how I first found out about what like or even knew what a podcast was.
Yeah, I remember like in high school, I was like talking to friends, and they were like, "Bro, did you watch Joe Rogan?" And then all of a sudden, it was like everyone was watching Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, man, we got to talk about some tickers. It's the bullish versus the bullshit. We got three good ones. I think people are gonna find the first two really, really helpful because they're names that have been pushed on social media. They're names that people have a ton of questions about.
Wish?
So we're gonna go over it.
Oh,
What's that?
I said wish.
Wish? Nah, man. I wish. I wish
Oh,
it
you
was Wish. I want to look at Wish real quick. I'm just gonna pull it up. Holy moly, the forever downtrend continues. 250.
Remember when me and you were talking about that? You're like, "Oh, I'm gonna start a swing." I'm like, me and you were talking about that. I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think I was gonna start a swing at like 3 something, and you were like, maybe not. And I was like, maybe not.
Oh yeah, maybe not.
Dude, it's just downtrending forever. When that thing does go, though, it is gonna fucking go. Like that's the thing. This thing is gonna go when it goes. It's just, will it go? Is it ever gonna go?
This is like the
crazy.
fucking most overhead. It'll be very tough.
Yeah. It's gonna have to take like the best
There's overhead.
buyout news or something.
There's
crazy.
overhead at like every dollar.
Yeah. Like a fat overhead level.
Look at
too.
$5. If you look
I'm
at the
looking at it
overhead on
right now.
$5,
Holy shit.
which I don't. I mean,
All right, man. I'm gonna send you with our first one. You get to talk about this first while I look at the chart. BBIG. It's been getting a lot of hype over on the Atlas gang. All respect to them. What do you think about it?
the monthly looks really good. Well, I guess the last week essentially. Um, been making higher highs and higher lows. It looks healthy. I mean, that's what a chart should look like. I don't. I put an alert out in Discord yesterday that this and SBEV looked good. And I mean, it does look good. I don't. Is there a reasoning behind why it's moving, or just Twitter?
I'm not sure. Let me go. I'm gonna pull up
I just don't
my
pay
news
attention to
source.
like the crowded stuff.
Yeah, I actually let me see. So it was like 3 days ago that it started moving.
Uh,
China to launch
14th,
now.
yeah.
All it says is DJ Vinco Ventures up 23%. It doesn't really, I think it might just be short squeeze of some sort. And also just the fact that it's um like NFT, crypto, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
It is short squeeze. Yeah, it's short squeeze because I'm seeing like a lot of stuff about like it's up like a week as the shorts feel the burn, that kind of thing.
yeah. I stopped paying attention to all these Twitter pumps, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, the chart does look good the past week. Bounced nicely off $4 today.
Yeah.
Kind of in the middle of that weird gap on the volume profile, but uh, I'm not bullish. Like bullish on this the rest of the week, maybe, but bullish on this like for an extended period of time, no.
Yeah.
So that would be my answer on that.
Um, I think I'm gonna go bullish. I think I'm gonna say I like it. I like how it busted through that 200 MA like it did, with that gap up. And then I kind of think once we get above, 550, the volume kind of dies down, has some more room above 550 to actually move because 550 up until there it has quite a bit of overhead. Um, and also, I mean, it looks like the movement looks pretty healthy compared to the rest of the chart on it. Like it looks like it's what it normally does. It has big pops and they sustain for days and days and maybe even a couple weeks on end. Um,
Problem
so yeah,
is these
I'm gonna say bullish.
Problem is anything that gets ran on Twitter will always have overhead and a lot of
Yeah,
overhead. So
like short term overhead.
yeah, and then there's a shit ton of overhead at like $7, $8.
Yeah.
So bullish the rest of the week, yeah, it's for sustainable, and I don't think so.
All right. What do we think of SBEV? I know you said you told your Discord you liked that and BBIG. Personally, I think SBEV's chart looks worse. I don't really like that chart very much. Um, there was like a kind of a gap in the chart. They filled it almost all the way. Had a big red candle today. I think this one, if you go back and look, January, February of last year, it gives away its gains pretty quick. I think it's going to give away its gains again. I'm going to say bullshit on it just because it popped up really hard on news. And I think that news, then the company played to it. They gave it a couple extra news bumps, something about like them being put into a store, that kind of thing. And then now I think its time is done. I think it's going to, die down, maybe consolidate a bit up here, flag out, to the downside. I don't see it, maybe popping again for a few weeks to a month. And it would all be technical at that point. So for now, I'm going bullshit for the next few days to couple weeks.
Um, yeah, it's very overextended the last 3 days. um, the weekly looks half decent. You have a demand zone at 375 to about 390. If it falls below that zone, which is also sitting on the 200s, then this thing probably flushes pretty hard.
Yeah.
Down to 3. But I'm calling bullshit on this. Just another one that's getting ran on Twitter.
Yeah, for sure. Bro, we did good as fuck last week
On
on bullish
AMC.
versus bullshit. We said QQQ looked bad, DWAC looked good, and AMC looked bad, and all of that happened. It
Yeah,
was
and I
beautiful.
don't feel bad for anyone holding those.
You got to reiterate that. You don't feel bad for
I
any of the
must
eights.
reiterate that I do not feel bad. I wonder where that lady's at that did that stream or that video that she's not leaving and she called everybody pussies and stuff. It's interesting.
Sounds like someone I know from Intuit. Calling people names on live stream. Dude, I remember when that happened. That was nuts. But all right, the last one we got. I picked this one because there's been a lot of chatter on it around Reddit, Twitter, Discords. It's kind of a well-known name for option traders and people who are long-term. It's NVIDIA, NVDA. People really like it. The chip shortage caused it to, fly. It did that reverse split, or not reverse split, normal split months ago. And now it's kind of in this little bit of a flag, downtrend, whatever you want to call it, pullback, whatever you want to call it. At the beginning of 2021, it was, let me look for it. At the beginning of 2021, it was $128. At its peak, it was $350, and now it's $250. So it's lost quite a bit of its value in the past 2 months. People are wondering, is this a place to go long? Is this a place to go short? Is this, the end, or is this just the beginning? For me, I don't have a lot of analysts on the company. I actually didn't do anything on, financials, any of that kind of stuff. But technically, I think it looks bad. I think it's probably going to break down. Because if I'm looking for a flag, I'm looking for decreasing volume. And on the daily, I don't see decreasing volume. So I'm going bullshit here.
If I'm just looking at this technically, the issue is if it breaks, there's a node sticking out right at like 247 to 250 on the daily. If that breaks, it has a lot of room down to 230-ish, maybe a little bit underneath that. There's also a gap from 238.5 to 233. So technically, if 250 does not hold, this has quite a bit of room. Also, the 200 sitting under 230. So,
and this flag also, if it breaks, 250 is the breaking level for that. So if 250 breaks, just like you said, we're fucked.
Yeah, I base everything off technicals. So technically, it doesn't look good.
We want to thank you all for tuning into episode 7. Hopefully you got some good stuff from MapleStax, the bullish versus bullshit. If you learn anything, learn that gin and tonics are pretty good, actually. So hope you guys got some good stuff.
Yeah, we appreciate the support. Like we always say, leaving a rating on the platform you listen on, or a like on our YouTube channel actually really does help us a lot, and we've said it before, but we don't make a dime off the podcast. So yeah, we really appreciate the support, and we appreciate the people that continue to listen.
Yeah, thank you guys. Keep growing as traders. Keep learning every single day. We both have Discords to help people learn. Maple has a Discord to help people learn. There's Twitter. DM us wherever you need to talk about stuff, whatever it is. We're here for you guys. Thank you guys very much.
Yep, thanks guys.
You wanna stay, just stay for long. 'Cause you got the sweetest touch I know. You might just dance with the mother guys, but I don't mind. I know you're mine. I don't care just what they say. Loving you long takes the pain away. So when you look me in my eyes, will you take some time?